You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Sir Lana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Spaceboy, and across from me is the lovely Sir Lana, and this is Spaceboy Universe. It is August 18, 2018, and we're on show number 2.31. Tonight's guest is Dave-Cruz from Beyond the Strange. As always, follow us on Twitter. That's at the SB Universe. Follow Sir Lana at Sir Lana, and follow me. That's at Spaceboy Music. Of course, make sure to hashtag your tweets tonight with hashtag SB Universe and hashtag Space Cadets. In addition to Twitter, you can find us all over social media. Just look for Spaceboy Universe. Speaking of social media, you can also check out our YouTube channel. We do more than just the archive of shows there. There is video content from SB Music, video interviews, 2-Bit Gamers, so much more. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell to be notified when new content is available. Can't catch the show live? No problemo. You can always take the SBU on the go with you via Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartMedia, and Spotify. Coolness, because we like the broadcast. And on that magical note, I'd like to bring in the lovely Sir Lana. How are you, Sir Lana?
I am literally torn apart.
Oh, okay. Would you like to elaborate beyond that?
Well, that's what happens when you pass a kidney stone.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to jump to conclusions that that's what you were talking about.
Yeah. So Friday, I'm at work. Everything's cool. 10 a.m. I'm like, having a little twinge. 11 a.m. I'm like, okay, now it feels like somebody's put their fist against my right kidney and is pushing in. Mm-hmm. Noon, it's gotten, the pressure is building. And I have gone in there and I said, look, I'm having a kidney stone. This is like kidney stone number 37. It's not a big deal, but I'm starting to get a little nauseated. So I'm thinking I'm going to go home because I'm close to, I'm almost in walking distance to a major medical center at our house. And I said, all the fires are put out for the day. I've done all the tasks everybody's really needing to get done. And I've talked to this person. Everybody's cool. And I'm cool. And this is what I've done all week, so everything's good. And it's Friday. So I leave at noon on the dot.
So let me ask you here, interrupt here. So I know you've had quite a few kidney stones. Do you recall the first kidney stone you had?
I was 15. 15?
Mm-hmm. Going back that far?
Mm-hmm. I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm traveling home, and the pressure just building. But it's not like, oh my God. I'm just like, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed. I was like, you couldn't wait 3 more hours. Just 3 more hours, and I could have been at home anyway.
I can imagine it's like, another kidney stone, inconvenience.
Yeah, it's just, at this point, it's a minor inconvenience. I've got a situation right now where I desperately need to have a root canal, and I can't afford it. So if you give me the option, would you rather have a root canal or kidney stone? Give me that kidney stone, because I can pass them suckers in under 12 hours. So I get home, it's almost 1. By the time I've left work and drove home, the pain has moved from my kidney down into a different area down below. And I'm drinking water like crazy. I just go ahead and take a nap. The cat comes, lays on me, purrs. Maybe that helps push it out. I don't know. You come home, we do whatever. I'm okay. I'm not really in any pain. And then 8 p.m., we said, gosh, we're tired. Let's just go to bed. I'm going to go one more time, and then I'll come to bed. I go one more time, and I see something. And boy, is it significant. And I'm like, okay, we're done.
So do you feel like you passed it?
Yeah, I feel like I passed it. I'm sore. I can tell it ripped through my body. So. Well,
I'm happy for you. I know you were ecstatic when you saw the thing.
I ran to you like a toddler that did their first boom boom. I'm like, guess what? You're like, I don't want to see it. I'm like, well, was it going to make you come see it?
Because it wasn't a matter of curiosity. It was just a matter of, okay, I'm ready to lie down. I'm ready to go to sleep. I'm tired. But no, I'm happy that you passed it because it saved us a trip to the medical room, and you did it all yourself. So
yeah, I'm getting good at these things. Now, I have had a kidney stone that was too big to pass. You remember that? It was about 2005 or, some about that time. I could not have passed it on. They had to go up there and get it. And but I try to pass them first. So, and the only way I would know if it's too big to pass if it just keeps going on. If the pain continues and it doesn't ever manifest. So, but I'm doing okay.
Well, it's going to be a good show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And, we got Dave Cruz on at the bottom of the hour. And so, pretty exciting stuff. But, this is the part where we go back and forth and talk about stuff, basically it's stuff. It's the part of the program that is everything about nothing. So, I was reading an article, Sir Lana, that Netflix is interrupting marathons by testing ads between the episodes of other shows. So, immediately the first gut reaction is people think, oh, so what, am I going to have to watch a Colgate commercial or something like that? No, it's not like that. It's ads for other shows. Like, if you like this, then you'll love this. But
that's still super annoying.
Yeah, because when you're
if I want it, I'll go look for it. Don't be telling me what I want to see when I'm looking at something else.
So basically, when you're binge watching something, like for example, I just went through Orange is the New Black, and it would stop like in a marathon, in the middle of your marathon, to say, hey, if you like Orange is the New Black, then you're going to like Dora the Explorer.
No, those two things do not correlate.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like...
those are strong feminine role models, I suppose.
Well, it's like Hulu, you usually get... You can have an ad of this or ad of that. And usually...
with this,
it's usually... you can watch an ad about an Alexis new vehicle, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other one is... something to do with feminine hygiene. And like for me as a watcher, it's like, one, I don't plan on buying that car. And two, I don't need feminine hygiene. And I'm going to apologize to everybody in advance. You might hear the cat come in, and I see the cat off in the distance.
There she is right there.
So anyway, going back to this thing, I think it sets a bad precedence that they're trying to...
Sorry about that.
I know, distraction with a cat.
Sorry.
To put these things in. Ultimately, what they're trying to do, Netflix, is trying to make you forget Hulu and Amazon. I mean, hello, I'm not going to forget Hulu and Amazon because I pay for it. So each month I know that they're there. And then, of course, as we've discussed, Sir Lana, we get the majority of the movies that we purchase or our TV options are through Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's not going to go anywhere.
If we had nothing left but Amazon, we'd be okay, except for some of the original programming we've got hooked on Netflix, like Stranger Things that's coming back,
right.
And the other stuff you're watching.
And I usually keep Hulu as a backup. I've seen a few things on Hulu that aren't on the other things that we have, but it's kind of a random thing to where we keep, so, just they're testing. So, keep an eye out for that. Here it is another week, and it wouldn't be another week without me talking about Star Wars. And I was just waiting for your eye roll, but you're so intense at looking at your monitor.
Well,
so,
Dave's in the chat room.
Oh, yeah, I see. Hey, Dave, we'll be taking him on very shortly in the
Don't
next 20
say
minutes.
it like that. It's not we're not going to punch him or anything.
No. No, so back to Star Wars. Apparently, Sunday Express, and you got to take this website with a grain of salt, because that's the kind of website, when you look at it, off on the right-hand side, it's got these little mini, articles that you can click on, and it's usually got something like some princess is half nude, and you could tell she's had work done, or some British person did this, and they're very cheeky and they're shagging on the beach somewhere. So it's one of those kind of websites. I don't want to compare it to like any of our sites. Maybe TMZ. Maybe I guess I'll put it there. But anyway,
what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Star Wars. I mean, come on.
What
listen.
has that got to do with British?
Look, it's where I found the article. Okay.
Okay, so it's of dubious nature.
Yeah. So basically, it says Star Wars Backlash. Disney stops Rian Johnson's trilogy after The Last Jedi's fan boycott, and it's a question mark on him. So they're questioning: did they stop his trilogy? Well,
was there a boycott?
Well, yes, there was a boycott. Oh my goodness, how could you not? With all the people out there that I watch, that you roll your eyes when I start going down the list, whether it be Geeks and Gamers or and all the other good ones that are out there. That
I scroll past those things. I do see them, but I don't click and watch them because you've got them. Because when we're logged in on YouTube on the app on the TV,
right,
you've got all those. You're subscribed to them.
Yes.
So I just scroll right past them.
Well, it helps me keep up with what's going on, and
I know you care about that sort of thing.
Well, part of the show is that we do pop culture here. I mean, it is a part of what we do.
These specific issues with Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy and Johnson, and I feel beat down by it.
Well, it has been going on for quite some time. So let me quickly cap this and move on to other things. But so there's a possibility that there is some scuttlebutt out there that's saying Rian Johnson is not going to get that trilogy. And remember, last week I called him a buffoon if he thinks he's going to get that trilogy. I don't think so.
This is going to be a new story?
Yeah, it was going to be a new story. Listen to this. He wanted to create a new story in another galaxy.
Far away.
Yeah, far away.
So far away, you won't be able to find it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now you won't be able. Yeah, so you won't be able to find it now.
So the next Star Wars that comes out next year, yes, is the end.
Well, supposedly it's the end of the Skywalker.
The canon of the Skywalker canon.
Exactly.
Okay.
So J.J. Abrams is taking control, and now
he's somewhat dead.
Who?
Skywalker.
Well,
he transcended or something.
It went off to do something. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what J.J. Abrams does.
She said it was something purposeful and positive.
So the thing is that there's even rumors with that is that they might break it up into two parts. So we'll see how that goes. Now, finalizing all this other stuff, next month is September. So the last, I don't know when the 28th falls on of next month.
I'll tell you.
But basically that day is,
Friday.
When we find out about Kathleen Kennedy. And if Kathleen Kennedy goes, so will Rian Johnson, because...
Well, then the good clean slate.
You would think so. We'll see.
They could bring back Abrams. He did okay, didn't he?
I think he's only going to do the movie, and because they approached him to possibly take over Kathleen Kennedy, but he said nope.
No, I mean to just direct one.
Well, he's directing the next movie. I mean, he's already in the process of doing it, so we'll see how that goes. So, once again, buffoon. I'm glad to see him.
Need somebody who's our age to take over her, that remembers the original and what it felt like and that stuff.
So I hate to transition on those words into James Gunn, but
Aren't we done with him yet?
Well, I'm bringing this up because you got Dave Bautista, who plays Drax the Destroyer in the Guardians movie.
Yeah, he says
and he basically said he wasn't going to do the movie if Gunn wasn't rehired, and then
I wonder what his contract
or
says.
Two, if he was, or if the script wasn't going to be used. So yeah, I'm like, you basically signed a 3-movie deal. I'd like you to see you get out of this. But think about this for a second. In the original Iron Man movie, I'm trying to think of who played the original. I know what you're talking about. The Iron Patriot, whatever. Yeah, well, they replaced him
with Cheadle.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's nothing to say that they couldn't replace Batista with someone else if he's going to make it difficult, which I think it's crazy, that Batista just doesn't use some common sense here. The blame is being put on the alt-right, that they're the reason why James Gunn got fired and yada, yada, yada.
No, it's his own fault.
And it's really his own fault.
Yeah,
I mean,
disgusting.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Can we go on to something else?
Well, I just wanted to bring up the fact that Dave Bautista, even after seeing the pictures from the pedophile party that James Gunn was at, he still hasn't changed his mind. And it just blows my mind that this isn't a left or right issue. This is a common sense issue that a man did something, and in a company that projects itself as kid friendly has every right to deny or not rehire or to fire somebody who doesn't live up to their company standards. So with that said, we can move on. Do you got something over there that we can change the...
Well, I was joking about this with you before the show started. Mm-hmm. And the reason is for one reason. I'd asked you, had you ever heard of the jitterbug phone? Because I had never heard of that.
Yeah, so basically the jitterbug phone is for elderly people. It's basically a flip phone. It has...
did this come out in a previous time period or something?
Within this decade.
Okay.
Or maybe even before this decade.
Okay.
But still, the fact is that the numbers on the phone are huge, and so that elderly can see the numbers better.
And it's just to take calls, make calls.
Yes, exactly. It's not like, hey, I need Candy Crush on my phone or
the company that made Jitterbug is called Great Call. Mm-hmm. Well, this is what cracks me up. Best Buy just bought Great Call for $800 million, and what made me laugh is Best Buy has $800 million. Where did they get that from? Who's going in there to Best Buy and it's keeping them afloat? That's what I just couldn't get past. That's why it was funny to me. But I think what is keeping them afloat is their tech support. Their Geek Squad. They have a subscribers deal where you can subscribe for tech support and you get 24/7 tech support.
Well, to be honest with you, Solana, I'm not big on their tech support. You know who I like to use?
Yourself.
Hold on. I like to use a company called southwesttech.us. They're a nice small little company that, why trust your computers to a geek when you can trust it to a guru? So
are you sure about that URL?
I am positive that it is Southwest Tech. You got a computer over there? Why don't you type it in real quick and check? So this is live in Southwest Tech.
So that's West and then another T.
Yes, South.us. Tech.us.
That doesn't exist.
What? It has to exist. South.
I think
West. Oh wait! It's
confused.
Hold on. I'm having my jitterbug moment. It's actually Westside Tech. Try that one. Westsidetech.us.
That's why I kept asking, are you sure?
Is it Westside Tech?
Westsidetech.us.
Anyway, yeah, it's Westsidetech.us, and they provide computer services and, like, say, for instance, your computer gets a gremlin in there, and they can get in there, and, the nice thing is they can do it remotely. It's not like you have to worry about some spaz coming over to your house.
We have our own official gang sign.
Yeah, so, westsidetech.us, and, why trust your computer to a geek when you can trust it to a guru? But anyway, check them out, and if you need some computer help, just look at the website, and it'll be self-explanatory. So that concludes this shameless promotion. And
But speaking of shameless promotion, did you know you can get free music anytime, anywhere, if you go to spaceboymusic.com, and you can download whole albums worth of free music. How about them apples?
That is right, Solana. So,
never let it be said I don't support you.
I didn't get the full article on this, but apparently there was a ramen heist recently.
Like the noodle? Like the cheap noodle you go into the store and buy?
Yeah, I get the cups.
Put the water in it.
But this is, little bags that,
it's the same principle,
you throw it in the water and you heat it up and yada yada. Well, apparently someone stole $98,000 worth of ramen noodles.
That must have been like 8 million truckloads
It was
worth of ramen noodles.
It was one huge truck, is what I've heard. And I mean, that's a pretty
Aren't those like 50 cents a pack?
Roughly about that much, exactly. I mean, you've seen when I've got the cup of noodles, right?
Those are like $1 or something.
Not even $1.
Not even $1.
Yeah, it's like 30 cents a cup, and I can get a whole thing like for.
I'm Googling how much are ramen noodles.
So, but
13 cents, you could eat 3 square meals a day for $142.
See, back in the day when I was in my 20s, I had, here's what I would buy for groceries. I'd buy some bologna, I'd buy bread, I'd buy rice, and I'd buy ramen because, those are pretty cheap, and Kool-Aid and some sugar too. But, those were the things I bought in my 20s because usually I'm out and I'm, whatever. I wasn't usually at home. And but when I was home, it was, that was the deal.
I've never had that in my life.
What?
I'm sure there's going to come a point real soon where I will have to figure out something I like because that'll be all we have left to eat.
Wait, you've never had ramen noodles?
Never.
What? What do you mean you've never had ramen noodles?
I don't even know if we've had them in my hometown that they're available, but no, I've never had them in my life.
I mean, you like spaghetti, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not spaghetti, but I mean, it is noodle.
You like spaghetti? Well, it's nothing like that. You'll love it.
So, I mean, I think you should try at least one time. Just try some ramen noodles. See how you can do. I like to get the cup because, I'll finish off the noodles and then the broth is left. And it feels good like when you've got a lot of crud in your throat and that's smooth, warm. I mean,
you're talking about like Chinese soup,
Well, sort of. But I guess it's kind of like the same like that. Like when you like to drink your hot tea.
I miss my hot tea.
Yeah, hot tea. But anyway, $98,000 worth of ramen noodles. Interesting, right?
I'm looking at a 12-pack is $1.94. Yeah,
it's if you're looking for something expensive, ramen noodles are not expensive. They're a great inexpensive snack, and I've seen people where they take ramen noodles and they'll add, put it into a pan, and then they'll, cook meat with it, and yeah. So, this is the segment, Solana. I've got to say that I want to bring up that, it's a goat time. So, Miss Michelle, I hate to do this to you.
I can get up to browsing.
Oh, so who remembers Hurricane Harvey?
I do because I lived through it.
Yeah, so I did too. So what? Okay, so there I was going through my Facebook news feed, and checking stuff out, and all of a sudden, I come across the Houston Chronicle article that the city of Houston is honoring Joel Osteen for his magnificent work that he did through the hurricane. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, he didn't do jack squat during the hurricane. And the person that really is outstanding when it comes to this particular issue, as far as helping the Houston community, was Mattress Mac.
Yes.
And I mean, he was told, even the president commended him on a job well done. He brought people into his store and gave them places to lay down and sleep. And
he brought them shelter. He let them eat the food in there. His stores were actually donation centers for people to bring things and pick them up and get them distributed. And he's not looking for recognition. He's still doing stuff. He doesn't care about that. He's not being nominated, for things and, tooting their own horn. And when you read me that Liquid said, well, we did this and we did that and we helped this many people. I'm like, that is not the point of charity, to brag about it. Well, just do it.
And what gets me is the things that they were quoting on how much he did was nothing.
Bullcrap.
Compared to, the only person you can compare it to is Mattress Mac. I mean, he went beyond anybody. I mean, he just, I can't say enough good things about Mattress Mac because there's just not a universe to fill him in. And what gets me is that I have a real problem, one, with Joel Osteen because he's a pastor at like a mega church. In fact, the church
supposed to know better.
The church was the old place where the Houston Rockets used to play.
So when we say mega church, we're talking about the structure is a mega structure because it used to be a place where sports was.
Yeah, exactly. Houston Rockets played there, and the old Compact Center, and of course before that, I think it was called the Summit. But anyway, I digress. The thing is that he made all these excuses, and it
wasn't until I shamed him on social media and in the news that they started picking up the slack. So that's good. Christians. These are Christians.
So don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-Christian or whatever, and I think that people need a place to go worship. But I think in this situation,
no. The point is you've got a church this is their duty. That's one of their primary duties is to help. And they were like dragging their feet and making excuses.
Well, thank you, Sir Lana, for taking my words out of my mouth when I was trying to get to the point. The point is that I have a problem when you have a pastor that looks awesome and dresses in expensive clothing
he looks
and
like a
and
lawyer, or he should be in a dental ad or something.
I just I don't know. I can't stand that kind of preacher because. I just think he's disconnected with his congregation. But anyway,
it's glamorous.
I just don't like it. And this situation with the city of Houston honoring him is a bunch of hooey. And so that's my two thoughts on it. And thank you, Goat. You expressed my words in so many ways. So, Solana, let's go ahead and get to break so you can get the call center up and so we can get Dave Cruz on. Hey, you're listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network, and we'll be right back after this.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
This is author Gordon Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is dave-cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe. Hey, y'all. This is Lorelai DeLille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Ronnie.
Dave Cruz was born in Oakland, California in 1970. He grew up learning about different lore, urban legends from family and friends. Stories of witches, vampires, and even possessed dolls were often told at family gatherings. Strange happenings often followed him around. Growing up, Dave watched shows like In Search of, Ripley's Believe It or Not, and That's Incredible. Often fascinated with the strange, and he even experienced paranormal events, he always questioned his purpose in life. Dave's also witnessed UAPs, which are unidentifiable aerial phenomenon. Once as a teen, and then later he experienced them sometime within the past 10 years. Dave has interviewed and spoken with numerous witnesses in the ufology community and hosts a live internet radio show called Beyond the Strange Radio. Going way back to his days as a youth, Dave Cruz remembers hearing strange noises and urban legends from family and friends, only to see some of them talked about on shows like In Search of, That's Incredible, and Ripley's Believe It or Not. Now, some 30 years later, with the help of online radio and podcasts, we can revisit the strange and paranormal once again with Dave Cruz, who is here tonight. Please welcome Dave Cruz.
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
How's it going, guys? It's been a while.
It has. It was kind of like one of those situations where out of the blue you had reached out and to me through Facebook, and I was like, what would be great, and I was just thinking this in my head, is like, let's get you on the show. And I said, hey, Dave, you want to come on the show? And you said that would be cool. And here you are. Of course, it took a week or two to get you onto the show, but, hey, I'm not going to complain because I'm just happy that you're here.
Life happens.
Thanks a lot, guys. And I just want to say thank you all for having me on the show. I really greatly appreciate it. It's good to be on Space Boy Universe and to see the old crew like K28 and Bob and Michelle, a lot of people that I'd like to say that we grew up with, in a sense.
Oh, yeah. Definitely some Beyonders in there, and I guess they wear two hats, Beyonders and Space Cadets, so it's all good. It's a big family, and, we all have our, I guess where we come from, an origin, if you will, the point of the Big Bang, so to speak.
Exactly, yep, exactly. We all come from sort of like the same place, and it's all good, man. It's all good. So, again, thanks for having me.
Sure, yeah. We're kind of laughing.
I'm laughing about that phrase.
Yeah, that phrase. Saul Goodman.
Saul good.
So, Dave.
It definitely dates me, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight, it's kind of like when we have a topic roulette kind of thing. Anything goes, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I just learned he's 2 years older than me, so that's cool.
And so I guess, do you want to catch our audience up? How things going with Beyond the Strange, and what's going on with that, and and then I guess we'll just kind of go down the river from there.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Beyond the Strange has been going, steadily, I would say, for like the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. We're going into our fourth season, if you will. I mean, there's really no seasons. It's just whatever. Mm-hmm. I look at it this way. Whenever I go on, that's when the show's on. So it's been kind of in and out. I've been on a couple of networks. The show's been on a couple of networks. I've had people co-host. I've co-hosted with people. It's been a mix of a lot of things. But, the thing about it is it'll always be Beyond the Strange, and it's definitely going to be taken off here in October for the Halloween month, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, that's just around the corner. I mean, I was planning this like 2 months ago, and I knew that's how soon it was going to be coming around the corner. So definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people have noticed, but I tend to take little hiatuses here and there. Mm-hmm. But, that's life, man. And I'm sure, you and Solana know what that's all about.
We've had to take a couple nights off. Mm-hmm.
Right. So you got to do what you got to do. And by the way, I just want to do a shout-out real quick to AK Cog. AK Cog, good to see you, man. Really glad to see you out there in the Spreaker chat. So, again, hola to everybody. I'm really glad to be here tonight and talk to you guys, and let's get down.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're here. Over the years that you have been doing Beyond the Strange, has there been a particular show that really stands out, that really grabbed you, or more than maybe one of the other shows, or anything out there?
Yeah, there's been a lot of shows that I did that kind of give me that, ooh, man, this is crazy. I got to write this down, my memoirs and that kind of thing. But it's really, there's one show that really sticks out in my head, and that would probably be the episode I did with a gentleman by the name of J.C. Johnson, who had actually not just passed away, but he passed away last year unexpectedly. No, actually, the beginning of this year. Time goes by so fast. But, he is a huge figure in the cryptozoology field. And one day I was talking with my wife, Deb. You guys know Deb.
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking with her cousin, who's been on my show before, who's also a cryptozoologist, a Bigfoot hunter in his own right. And he told me about JC, and I mean, I don't have a problem, talking about this because it's all true. It's like I actually hadn't heard about JC Johnson before. I heard the name, but I actually didn't hear him. And so I did my research, and I knew that he's a great storyteller, Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of stories that he told, and it really just, man, I mean, when it's like when you're watching or listening to something really spooky at night and the lights were off, and you're just you're sitting there, or you're laying down, and you're listening to this, and your skin just starts to crawl. Mm-hmm. That's how good JC Johnson was, and I'm pretty sure, to be honest, I'm pretty sure I got the last interview with JC Johnson. Mm. And we talked about, we covered Dogman, we covered some Bigfoot, but most of all, we covered werewolves. Oh. And he told a story about a man that he had talked to. This man had been in a community of werewolves. What? And that, this is what I'm saying, is this is what started to really make the hair on my arm stand up. This guy was talking about how officials were werewolves, how people in government, in local government, were werewolves. I mean, there was, it's like almost like the whole town was a werewolf, but you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when you find out, you're just like, oh crap, I'm really screwed, because everyone's a werewolf but me. And this is the kind of stuff that you hear or see in a Hollywood movie, but this guy was telling this story, and he was like, no, this is real. And I just, like, I'm listening to JC, and I'm in my studio with the lights down, and I just with my computer lights on, and I'm freaking out.
I don't know. I'm not trying to be funny, but Dave, I think I might agree with him in that community of werewolves, because I've been in some really small country backwater little towns in Louisiana, exactly, where if you walk into the Dairy Queen, which is the highlight of the town, everybody knows you ain't from around here instantly. And I'm thinking, it's like, is this a community of vampires? Or, I mean, it's like, there's something off about this place, and I don't know what it is. And fortunately, we're not staying beyond 1 hour, 2 hours. So I'm wondering if there might be something to that. And I'm not trying to be funny. I kind of wonder, when you get that off feeling, you're like, something's off. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to hang around here in this town,
Absolutely. I mean, it was so freaking, I mean, to me, I was seeing everything in my head. I almost felt like I was living it when he was talking about this. Like I said, if nobody's heard JC Johnson, I don't care if you listen to our podcast or a different podcast, you've got to listen to him. And believe me, you'll be freaking out too. You'll be like, oh my God, this is crazy. But the guy's awesome. Like I said, he is a great storyteller. But rest in peace, JC Johnson. That's pretty much, all I could say about him. He was really cool, and I was able to strike up a brief friendship with him. Unfortunately, he passed away before he could go further. But he's a really great guest.
We'll definitely have to check out your archive and see what that show is like. That sounds really, really interesting. In that vein, have you ever, Dave, sat and listened to this, on YouTube or whatever, or read what they call creepypastas?
Oh yeah. Jeff the Killer, mm-hmm. I believe, is that one of them?
That's one of the famous ones. Yeah. I got into this thing where I would listen to them, I'd queue them up on YouTube, and I would listen to them. I was just falling asleep. And of course, I would have these terrible dreams because my brain was still hearing that through the headphones, but I was asleep. But I got kind of addicted to them. But they have these ones that are about, the black-eyed children, the Men in Black, and, stuff like that. Those are the ones that I like to listen to. there was a there's a weird light in the woods, or there's a tap on my window. You know, things I really have no business listening to in the dark at night in the bedroom, trying to fall asleep. When I have insane dreams without listening to them. I mean, you give me Tylenol with codeine, and I will give you a story like you won't believe.
Totally. You know, and that could be true. I mean, you know, there's definitely a lot of I don't want to say like drug-induced type. Not just dreams, but you know what I mean. It's like there's an influence definitely on some of these things, but creepypasta is definitely something that is pretty interesting, to say the least.
What fascinates me about is how many of these YouTube channels that do nothing but read other people's stories are wildly popular, and some of them even make a living off of it or have it before. That's what baffles me. I mean, I like a good story much as the next person, but I don't know, maybe I'm just bitter. I don't know. But I mean, these people will go to Comic Cons as celebrities, and they just read other people's stories. That's all they do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is they have the talent to do that. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. You know, and I think that. Hey, if you can do it, why not? You know, I mean, I think it's great to be entertained in that sense. You know, if I can't do it, then I'll definitely hear somebody else do it. But you're right about YouTube, because you know, YouTube is definitely something that I've been working with for a while now, and I had decided to leave internet radio, so to speak, for a little while, and I started going to YouTube, and I started doing my show through YouTube through a program called Zoom, which is basically like Skype, but like 10 times better in my opinion.
I have Zoom at work.
I think Zoom is great. I love Zoom, and when you can stream with it, and you know, you can have your guests come on. You can share your screen. You can share their screen. There's all kinds. You can have a lot. There's so much stuff you can do with it. And like I said, the best part is that it'll stream right to your YouTube channel or Facebook Live. So you can do either one. The funny thing about this is I still get more people listening on Spreaker or iTunes or just podcasts than on the YouTube video views, which is very interesting, because I would think, well, people, you know, they're gonna want to see what we're talking about, and they can actually see the guest, and I'm talking to the guest, and yada yada. But that's not the case. You know, it does take a while to build that YouTube audience, because YouTubers are like podcast people. Podcast people don't listen to YouTube, or they don't go to YouTube. YouTube people don't do the podcasting. It's really bizarre.
It is. I guess Spaceboy and I are different, because we're just media people. We like to cover we like to get on every platform, and we've been watching YouTube for years now, and I got interested in how it's getting YouTube got shooken up with the whole adpocalypse thing, and how that fell out. And then you had that shooting, which was directly related to demonetization, which is part of the, you know, adpocalypse. And so, you know, I had always kind of watched the king, which is PewDiePie. You know, he's got 65 million subscribers. He's the most subscribed YouTube channel. And watching his journey to the top, and him doing these egregious things, but he still managed to keep his subscribers, where you've got these little idiots like Logan Paul that got close to the top and then fell hard. So we watch that because we're technically content creators. This show goes up on YouTube, but I mean, I don't know if you really want to call that video, although we do have videos from conventions and interviews we go to live. But YouTube has it's gone through these crazy phases recently, where it's people who are on there who have made their living off of being on YouTube have really, some of the smaller channels have really almost died out because of a demonetization and these crazy rules. And, if you're up and coming and you want to do that, well, there's no guarantee you're going to make it.
And that's why you see a lot of these YouTubers that are out there right now where they really kind of promoting the Patreon and third party donations and to just support their part, the smaller creators, that is, because it's next to impossible to really earn any kind of revenue off of YouTube these days. But and it's more, I hate to go down the aisle of revenue, but but getting back to the creative side, it still gives you a lot of ability as a creator to, as we started off, just like you, we started off doing the broadcast, streaming on YouTube, and then we progressed off to Spreaker to go that direction. But we've always kind of kept the YouTube channel as because we do the conventions and we do the live video, and so it still gives us an opportunity to expand and go beyond that. So
someday we might do another music video.
Yeah,
it may happen.
You never know, Spaceboy music. Yeah. So, but as a creator, Dave, in your own right, how do you? You're using Zoom and you're going back to YouTube and you're doing these, these shows on YouTube. How do you feel about that? How's that direction going for you?
I like the platform. I'm not really thrilled that it's YouTube itself. I'm looking at different outlets or formats, if you will. But for now, I've built my audience on YouTube. I have subscribers there that definitely want to see live content, just like the podcast or live streaming through either Spreaker or something else. So it's definitely something that it's just we got to tweak it, got to work with it. But by all means, if there's something new and shiny and whatever, I'd love to jump on that and bring it over, because like you said, it to me it's become not just internet radio or internet video, it's media, So I've basically rebranded my show also, Beyond the Strange, the media program, for those who are interested in that, something like that. But it's no longer just radio or internet radio. It's gotten bigger than that.
Mm-hmm. And that was part of the challenge when we first started, was that we didn't want to be just pigeonholed to just doing the broadcast, and that's why we introduced the video part to our program. And as you start to plug along and make it larger and bigger, and as we expect you, because we're kind of like brothers at arms, and kind of going at that same pace down this marathon, if you will. We can only expect things are going to get a lot cooler with you. Now, another thing we used to do, and we've gotten away from it, was we used to do the Periscope thing and doing the broadcast and doing the live thing. So, but we're kind of trying to circle back to doing that too as well. But I have to say that you have to be so diverse these days to keep up with the Joneses, and
especially YouTube. They've learned that is like what used to be on top is gaming, live gaming videos and things like that, and everybody would consume it. That's how PewDiePie started, was doing gaming videos. But then there's this shift where they want different content, more original content. And why don't you do skits? Now they want you to do video blogs. Now they want you to play against other people. Now, they want you to get on Reddit and look at crazy things on Reddit. And so you can see how they're looking for more diverse content. So I think that affects people like us to do this one thing, which is an internet broadcast, which is just audio media. So it's like, you gotta come, it's like that old vaudeville. You gotta have a gimmick, and sometimes you have to keep changing the gimmick.
Yep, Very, very true. You know, and it's interesting going back to YouTube again. They're doing their YouTube Red, and they've done YouTube Red for like 3 or 4 years now, I think. But this past year or last year, this at the beginning of this year, when they offered YouTube Red, they started offering original programming.
Yeah.
One of those shows, they brought back Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's some of the cast, you know, the main characters, but now they're older and it's a different story. And you know, I was hooked. I jumped on that bandwagon. Oh yeah, are you kidding me?
Because we have, it's called premium now, but I've been paying for YouTube for about a year or more, because I get 90% of my daily entertainment from YouTube. Not necessarily original, just randomness.
Paying for premium, you get the ad blocks.
Yeah, I have not seen a commercial like you can see on TV. I haven't seen a commercial in about 5 years. Except when we go to the movies. We go to the movie theater, that's the first time I see a commercial. Because I have ad blocks, and I pay for stuff, and I have subscriptions, so I don't have to see anything. Do they even still sell cars anymore? What's going on? I don't know.
I know, right? It's crazy. And that's funny that you bring up the movie thing, because going to movies for a while there, it did seem like they were just jamming all these different commercials before the movie, even before the trailers of the movie.
Yeah, well, they have local ads too. They have just static local ads before they do this bull crap. Here's what's coming on TV, and then I'm like, I don't even have TV. I'm not gonna watch any of this. They're still doing that. Mm-hmm. They're still doing that to a degree, but I think they're moving it more even into the movie itself. Before you would see there, you know, oh yeah, here's a Coca-Cola. You know, they're drinking Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever in the movie. But man, there is a lot of advertising in movies today. I mean, tons of advertising in movies. I mean, you look at it through the Avengers, all these, you know, popular, you know, trilogies that are going on. You can see the advertising big time. To me, it's just incredible how they get away with it. Mm-hmm. But anyways, going back to the show, for me, it's been a great 3 years. Again, it's on and off, but it's something that I do when I can do it, you know. And you know, I know a bunch of people love to have their show on at a certain time on a certain day and blah blah blah. And I wish I could do that, but my life is just not like that. You know, I can only do it when I can do it, and I'm hoping very soon that I'll be able to do it even more and more consistently, so it can be at a certain time, a certain date, or whatever you want. But I concentrate more on the guests, the content, and you know, what I bring to the audience. That's what I think is more important to me.
Yep, it is a challenge to do as we've done it for Saturday nights going on 3 years coming up in September. It's difficult to hit that mark every time. And so we understand, Dave, that and the hurdles that you have to go through, and this year we've really had to take some time off, and
this has been a terrible year.
Yeah, it's
just terrible. It's not getting any better.
But it is a good night tonight. So let's go ahead and take the top of the hour break, and when we come back, we'll have more conversations with Dave Cruz, and we'll go into areas that you'll least expect. So don't touch that dial.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
This is author Jordan Root. You are listening to the Space Boy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Space Boy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Space Boy Universe.
Hey, this is Dave-Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to Space Boy Universe.
This is Wendy. I'm listening to Space Boy Universe. Hey, y'all. This is Lorelai DeLille. I listen to Space Boy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
You are listening to Space Boy Universe. Here are your hosts, Space Boy and Sir Ronnie.
All right, we're back. And tonight's exciting guest is Dave-Cruz from Beyond the Strange. And, Dave, we're going to take a side road here for on the cruising road of our program. We cover more than five topics. it's six targets. You know,
was that a pun there?
Yeah, exactly.
Cruising.
Cruising through the universe with Dave-Cruz. So you know, you're a big fan of pop culture like we are, and you know, one of the things you kind of mentioned when we were talking is that you wanted to talk about possibly Better Call Saul. And I thought, hey, that's great because we both love Better Call Saul, and we haven't really dived into it. And
we're caught up, and I've also listened to the 2 podcasts that they have, the official show's podcast for the first 2 episodes.
So, you know, I thought, well, this would be great. So where do we start, Dave? I mean, if you want to open this can of soda up, and let's get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the last times that you and Solana and I talked, we got into a little bit of Better Call Saul, which is the spinoff from, of course, from Breaking Bad, and with a whole slew of characters, and also some characters that came back in a prequel sense. And I think that's pretty neat the way they're doing it. And this new season just started already, like you know, they're off to the races, in you know, if you want to put it that way.
Right.
My inner geek just comes out when I love talking about, you know, either, you know, different TV shows or comic books or you know, movies like Marvel or DC. And by the way, you guys did a great show either last week or the week before, and you guys were talking about how bad DC has been.
Oh, yeah.
And I totally agree. Horrible. Wonder Woman is the best DC movie to date. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. We agree. We agree.
But I'm the only one that thinks Batman is creepy. No, no.
Batfleck.
Superman.
Batfleck?
Superman and Batman. I know Superman's good looking and all that stuff. Yeah, but there's something just creepy about him. I'm sorry. It's creepy. In real life, too.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Oh well, that's the thing is, you know, the whole
I'll tell you during the break
thing, and I'm sure we can get on that topic real easy. But
yeah, let's start with Better Call Saul first.
I was talking to Space Boy today because we were talking about you coming on the show. It's like, what's he want to talk about? And he said, definitely Better Call Saul. I'm like, yes. Finally, somebody to talk to other than my husband, because that's all I have. So I was telling him, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, of course, both take place in Albuquerque at 2 different times. One Saul a little before Breaking Bad, but because they're both made by the same people, take place in the same Albuquerque. It's interesting how the city of Albuquerque is a layer for both shows because they have all these sweeping, gorgeous exterior shots. And I don't think they're doing it on purpose. That's just how gorgeous New Mexico is on its own, because you just happen to be outside. Mm-hmm. You know, the guy's on his knees, he's got his gun to his head, but look at that mountain back there. Crap. So it's like seeing an epic old Western. Because, you know, they had those big outdoor scenes, too. And you don't even know it till you're seeing it. And I love that aspect of it. It's this strange, surrealistic, anytime they're outside, it's like, it's a really different atmosphere. I like that. And it's a TV show.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, and, you know, that's the cool thing with Breaking Bad. One of the first things that attracted me to that show, besides, of course, the storyline, is that they're always outdoors. And, you know, you see when they're in that little Winnebago and they're going through the mountains and stuff, and it's just gorgeous. It's amazing. You know, it's just, and they have a really good soundtrack as well. They got a really good soundtrack.
Both
the whole
shows.
thing is just
both
awesome.
shows. Yeah, got it. Good soundtrack.
Both shows. But getting back to Better Call Saul, you know, it's like, you know, the first season, I was kind of like, okay, this is interesting. They're definitely going back. His name is Jimmy. First of all, I had no idea. You know, they show him at the Cinnabon. You know, that he talked about that in Breaking Bad. You know, and he has a brother. He's not even a lawyer yet. So a lot of stuff definitely starts in the first season we get to learn a lot about Jimmy. We can just call him Jimmy because that's his name.
Right.
Hasn't changed it.
And his stroke, no, it hasn't changed yet. That's still pretty interesting. It's probably not going to happen until the last that show or episode or whatever. But you see all these changes happening in this guy. He went from this, con man who is Saul, but it's like he has this struggle within him to be a good person at the same time, but yet he wants to make money and benefit from it. It's just really interesting.
So has he always been Saul inside and he's fighting the good side, or does everything that we've seen happen to him till now is another little piece of his soul died off, and that just makes him more the Saul that we saw in Breaking Bad? That's what I'm wondering.
Everything that happens to him definitely makes Saul what he is, at the end, in my opinion, and I don't know if people out there watch the show or if they're planning on watching it, but spoiler alert, his brother does pass away. And, guys, I really thought he was going to take a lot of responsibility for that, and it really sucks when he's in that room, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart here, with his brother's partner, talking to him about how
Hamlin?
It wasn't an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Hamlin, thank you. And he's basically trying to make Jimmy feel like crap, and I think it was working for a minute until he mentions the insurance, and Jimmy was like, oh yeah, that's your cross to bear, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kim goes and rips him a new one.
She does. I mean, she rips him a new one. You talking about Hamlin?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She rips Hamlin a new one. Yeah. That was so, man. I was
you
like,
think Hamlin
wow.
was trying to get at Jimmy for all the past wrongs that Jimmy did to Hamlin by saying stuff like that?
Well, I think Hamlin never liked Jimmy.
Oh, of course.
And I think this was just another kick in the side to Jimmy, just basically just to keep him down. But he was really going after him this time, and that was messed up.
But Dave, do you think Chuck would go to the trouble to commit suicide as a last FU to Jimmy? Well, I'll show you. I'll kill myself. Then you have to live with that. I could totally see him doing that.
Yeah, I thought about that because both my wife and I we watched Saul. She's more of a Breaking Bad fan, but she does like Better Call Saul.
I'm opposite. I'm more of a Better Call Saul fan. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm growing into more of a Better Call Saul fan. Also, this is what, the fourth season. This is the fourth season.
Yeah, it's the fourth
Yes.
season. I was going to say, that my perspective is on Jimmy is that, sure, he was a con man, and his brother bailed him out. And I really got the impression that there was some degree that Jimmy just wanted to do right. His brother was kind of like badgering him. He said, it goes back to when they were kids because
he wanted some approval from him.
Yes, and his brother thought that he was stealing, and that wasn't the case. It was just his father was just a giving person. And so, but his brother always took it like, you're stealing money and blah, 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 and you'll never be, this or that. And
they both had issues.
And they both had issues. And eventually you get to a point with Jimmy where he tries to do right. He actually tries to get on the bar and become a lawyer. And
benefited from doing right, did he?
No, because I think his brother...
because against his nature.
His brother put up these barriers.
So he couldn't.
So it was kind of like doomed to fail, exactly. And, I don't,
textbook toxic relationship.
But I will say this. I think it's bizarre that, after all of that time that Jimmy's brother was had these lamps, how it could, I could see how a fire could get started based upon the nature of the house. But the fact is that I think he's been around these lamps long enough to like
know better.
To know better, and so it kind of.
Well, he was kicking the thing. He was kicking the table.
Yes.
Or the box or whatever it was on. I mean, it was definitely. But like Solana just said, I definitely could see him as this is the last middle finger to Jimmy and the whole world. Hey, if you guys, if the world wants a guy like my brother to be a lawyer and stand for everything that's wrong, go for it. I'm out of here. I can definitely see that.
Mm-hmm. I listened to the podcast and they said they called McKeon, and he says, "Is this the death call? Let me pull over. Hold on. You stop the car. You're going to kill me off, aren't you?" And they're like, "Well, yeah."
Kind of like a Walking Dead thing.
Yeah, he's like, "I knew I was going to get the death call. You're going to kill off my character," and that stuff. But what I think what appeals to us about this show and Breaking Bad is you've got these characters who are they're not black and white. Like Walter White, he was a good guy. He got cancer. Like, oh my goodness, you feel for him. That he does these despicable things, and then both of these characters are doing that, and they're getting in these impossible situations, and they get out of them with the most clever ingenuity, especially Ermintrout as well.
Yeah,
Mike.
Well, you pointed up a good point here, is that the good guys end up looking bad and the bad guys end up looking good because with Ermintrout, we thought that he's
a bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
He is a bad guy.
He felt like, okay, yeah, he deserved to get shot, but
now not the way he went out is not good. But I hate Walter White.
Now that we've been
him.
watching Better Call Saul, Ermintrout, your opinion of him is much different now.
It's colored by what we've seen so far.
Exactly, and that's what's interesting.
And Walter White's death was too good for him. He should have suffered more. Like, really, really painful.
Mm-hmm.
I love Mike. And I agree with both of you guys. I hate the way he went out. And
Mike has got some cojones.
In a sense, yes, he does. I'm kind of hoping that they go back and do something with Mike and take it back to maybe even the 70s or something like that, when he was a cop, and and when his son even becomes a cop, and that whole thing goes down.
Right.
Hope maybe they can do it like what they're doing with Saul.
Yeah, in the future.
The black and white thing. Just what they could do, I'm thinking, is actually take that scene where Mike's in the car after being shot by Walter, and his life goes through his mind. I'm thinking about all this. I'm like, God, this show is so great. The character's so great. They can do spin-offs on a couple of these guys, not just Saul. They can do Mike. They can even do Gus.
Yeah, well, what about
they can even do Tuco.
What about Nacho's journey? That poor guy is in the middle of bad stuff. Either way, because now Frank says, "I own you." Yeah. I'm like, ugh. He just went from bad to worse. Because he doesn't want.
Are just amazing.
He doesn't want Nacho taking his glory because we know Fring wants to take down the Salamancas, and he's going to.
Fring is another character that you hate initially, but then you find out the reason
because he's the adversary of the good, quote unquote, good guy in Breaking Bad.
Because Salamanca, I guess, killed his partner, and
he wants revenge.
He wants revenge, and so. So we kind of see. I guess we.
If you didn't see Breaking Bad, a lot of this won't make sense.
When we look at this program, we see a lot of going back where we are pulled in by a character to make us feel one way about them, and then we find out, okay, I feel really bad because I thought this way, and this is why the character is this way. And I think that's what makes good writing for this.
It's not black and white; it's shades of gray, and you're like some moral ambiguity, and you're like if you've never been in that situation before and you're not tested, you don't know how you're going to react till you get there. Maybe that's what they're trying to show us. But that whole thing when they came out and they were walking out of that warehouse and they took Nacho's partner and put that bag over his head. Oh, my goodness. Mm-hmm. And they let Nacho live. They talked about the logistics of that in the podcast, about the safety. The guy it was actually cut open in the back, and they were just being strategic about it. But it was still really holy crap, what a crappy way to go, you know. But another thing,
I'd hate to be the actor.
Oh yeah,
to do that thing.
They said he made it look,
it was,
authentic. He says, but there was, safety, out the wazoo, so he didn't actually have a fully enclosed bag. He could always get out easily. But what intrigues me is Saul in the black and white future. Now, I just told you it's not black and white, but it is black and white when he's in the now, because this is his life. It's black and white. He can't, step out of line. He's like, he's this guy and he does this thing and that's all it is. And now what's curious is we know Kim is probably not in his life because of Breaking Bad, but where did Saul end up? In Kim's hometown. So I wonder what the significance of that is. And what's with that?
Yeah, and
that crazy taxi
driver,
ride.
or the I went back over that scene where they show his eyes in the mirror, and I'm trying to think. That's not Hamlin. I don't know who that is, but
that's not the vacuum cleaner guy, is it? It's not the vacuum cleaner salesman.
And they do it so well, it's like you definitely want to tune in and find out who it is. So you got to watch the whole thing. It could be somebody that hasn't came up yet. Who knows? But I mean, we know that a lot of those characters have already been killed off in Breaking Bad.
What was interesting? What was interesting is the thing on the mirror, the breath. What is it called? Like a freshener, car freshener.
Yeah,
it said New Mexico.
Yeah.
Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Albuquerque isotopes.
Yeah, that's right.
That seems like a call directly almost to Breaking Bad, because that was all about chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, I know that's probably like a sports team, but still, that felt like a chemistry reference more toward like foreshadowing or backwards foreshadowing. I don't know.
Well, it was enough to bother Jimmy.
Oh, it unnerved him.
Yeah.
That was absolutely. And that one other thing, that I'm trying to understand. Maybe you guys can help me out. Is the scene where he tells Kim, I got a busy day. I've got a lot of job interviews to go to. One of the first ones he goes to is this, printer place.
Copier sales.
Copier place. And so he's going to be a copier sales guy. And so he talks to these people, and he gives them the shtick. He knows his stuff.
Gives
he
them the
was
salt
in the
treatment.
mailroom. He knows that model. Yeah, he knows how to fix this. He knows how to do this. And then they were like, weighing on whether they're going to hire him or not. He comes back in, seals the deal, throws his whole lawyer's thing at these guys, and they're hiring him on the spot. Then the next thing you know, he's calling them suckers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what's going on? I don't understand why is he doing that?
If you listen to the official podcast, that might give you, because I think Odenkirk might be on that one. Yeah, it's on YouTube, their official podcast. He's in a weird headspace as a character, and I think he's fighting against his nature. He's trying to do the right thing and get an income, but for lack of a better word, they're schmucks. He knows it, and he knows he's smarter than them, and he's got to work for these idiots.
I think that's exactly what it is he's smarter than them. He could see several steps down the road, and he sees gullible people. It brings out his inner nature of when he was the hustler, and so you get that impression that he wants to do good. But it's like, okay,
it doesn't profit.
It's like I could wipe the floor with these guys and take them for all its money. Now, if you remember, later on, he's doing some kind of search on those figurines that he was
Hummel
looking at.
Thingies,
yeah, and so I guess
that part I didn't get. I mean, I remember when he was.
That's when he calls Mike. He says, "Hey, I got a thing that if you want to, I got a job. If you want to work this out, these figurines can go for quite a few dollars." And he'd rather just do the hustle thing to do that, because I think it's kind of like the thrill.
Is he going to hustle that from that old lady?
It's like you get these people that like to jump out of airplanes. That thrill of doing it. For him, it's that thrill of trying to hustle away something.
He was being a lawyer because that's where he can do it. That's where you do your hustle will, and you have worthy adversaries on the other side of you who are doing the same thing. Maybe that's where he feels complete.
And in that situation, it was lopsided. He knew that
he was superior.
Yeah, he was superior to these guys, and he could take them for what they were worth. And I guess we'll yet see how that goes down in the next episode, where this figurine comes up.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Don't you love talking about it and I love trying to pull it apart. And there's not been another show like that probably since Breaking Bad. And honest to God, if you'd explain Breaking Bad to me, I'd be like, nah. But he would watch it when it was on cable TVs right before we cut the cord. And I would walk by and he'd be watching it. He kind of explained the premise. And for some reason, after the second to last season, it was about to be over, I got interested, hopped on Netflix, started watching it. Quietly confessed to him later. He's like, no, you have to go back. I want to watch it with you. Finally get something to talk to you about. He's all excited. I get to talk to you now. And I'm like, he loves it when we can watch things together. And
I didn't have a problem starting all over again because, the show was that good.
But Breaking Bad, for me, that's a difficult show to watch again because it was heavy. It's very heavy.
Oh, yeah.
It's not happy, joy. There's the most jaw-dropping violence I've ever seen on television. On that show. Not that that's a problem for me, but I mean, to go back all the way through it nonstop, that'd just be like a chore. So I don't know. I mean, if you can do it, more power to you.
Now, Dave, have you heard the rumor let's jump back to Breaking Bad for a moment here, that The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad are connected?
Yes. Definitely been kind of looking into that, of course, Googling it, and I've seen that they are connected in some way. They go back and forth. Kind of, in my opinion, they're honoring each other. It's an AMC thing, of course, and that's in my opinion. And it starts off with Walking Dead, showing that the brothers Daryl and Merle had the blue meth.
Right.
Daryl comes back and he shows they have a bag of the blue meth. People right away, they recognize that as Breaking Bad. Oh, wow. Well, that's the blue meth. And then later on in Breaking Bad, they show the scene with Gus Fring when he gets blown to pieces. Half his face is blown off, and that was done by one of the lead producers of Walking Dead, Greg Nicotero. And so that was so they're kind of in a way they're honoring each other, but then they're also doing now. The Fear of the Walking Dead, the spinoff of Walking Dead, also has a tribute to oh my God, gosh, yeah, I'm having a brain fart. Walter White's alter ego,
Heisenberg,
which is Heisenberg. The part where they show the video with the mariachis talking and singing about Heisenberg.
Right.
That song is playing in it's almost like a flea market type setup where the characters from Fear of the Walking Dead are walking through and they're playing the music in the background. You can hear it.
Right.
It's the tribute or ode to Heisenberg. Tribute to Heisenberg.
That's, I know that Walking Dead existed before and has a comic book and already has a backstory history, but I love the idea that the blue meth has maybe made people sick and it's turning them into zombies.
Yes, and I was going to, yes, thank you. That's exactly where I was going to finish off with it, is the blue meth is quite possibly the cause of the Walking Dead, the walkers, the whole zombie apocalypse.
Well, it's definitely an interesting tie-in. Two fabulous shows that kind of hold together with a certain tapestry. So we're at the bottom of the hour, Dave. You know how this works. We take a break. You get a breather.
Absolutely.
And, but we bring you back. So hold on there for just a second. We'll be right back with Dave Cruz. And you're listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network. Don't go anywhere.
This is Patrick Scott Spore, and you're listening to Space Boy Universe.
You are listening to Space Boy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Hey, Solana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe?
SpaceboyUniverse.com.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Ron.
All right. Our guest tonight is Dave Cruz, and we're having a great conversation with him. And Dave, we're going to move into superheroes. I know I'm waiting for Solano to roll her eyes, but actually she's been kind of getting into this Marvel thing, you know. So let's start with Marvel conversation. You know, what's the last Marvel movie you've seen?
Avengers.
Okay, so we're good. We're both on that. We're going to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp tomorrow, so that we can kind of get an idea of what to expect in this near future, which will, I guess what comes next is Captain Marvel is next, and then we get the second Avenger movie, which is next May. So how did you feel about the big snapping?
Did you get a little teary-eyed over Miss Little Spooderman going, I don't want to go?
I definitely felt bad for Spider-Man.
Poor little guy.
I got a little choked up.
They did that on purpose.
I'll admit it.
To get us.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they definitely did it on purpose. And it definitely they got my wife for sure. She was bawling.
I was bawling. Angry about it.
And my daughter. Yeah, but yeah, I mean. Well, look, you know, it's for those who follow the comic books and who follow the story in the Marvel universe, comic book universe, you know, it's not exactly the same way that they're doing it.
Yeah,
you know, they are definitely doing it differently, but in the comic book also, you know, they show Thanos snapping his fingers and everyone just starts poof to disappear. So you kind of expect it if you kind of research all that stuff. It's like spoiler alerts. So I was expecting a lot of people to disappear, but I wasn't expecting almost all of the Guardians to disappear. I was going
to ask you about that, Dave. Now Thanos, didn't he say it's random? But as Spaceboy pointed out to me earlier, Iron Man was left behind. Stark. Hulk was left behind because he's had the encounter with Thanos. Iron Man had an encounter with Thanos. Some others had an encounter with him, but they didn't stay behind. So I wondered, is it really random, or does Thanos have his little favorites or people he wants to continue to suffer? Or did he even make that decision? I wonder.
I don't know. I really couldn't say. I would have to say it's pretty random because there's a lot. I mean, Banner stayed. Maybe if he was the Hulk, he would have disappeared. Who knows? But you're right. You know, I mean, you know, he killed Thor's brother Loki. You know, he killed a lot of these other different characters that had attachments. Was there anything with Pepper? Do you know if Pepper disappeared?
We don't know.
I don't think she gets.
They didn't show that, did they?
I don't think she gets taken away from the snapping, as I keep calling it.
The snapping. I like that. I like that. That's good.
Avengers 4, the snapping.
There you go. That's what they should call it. But yeah, there's a lot of people that stayed that I thought was definitely going to leave. I thought. I thought Stark was going to leave. But
no, he's the brains of it all.
Amazing.
He's the original Avenger. I don't think
but
they were.
I heard that somewhere, you know, in the beginning of all this whole thing that they conjured up, they came to Robert Downey Jr. about it, who, he owns like a lot of all this stuff, all these movies that they're coming out, or he gets a part of the earnings or something like that on top of what he gets.
Yeah.
Must be a producer then.
And, I mean, he's basically set for 10 lifetimes.
Right, exactly.
After this is all done. And, you know, I heard somewhere where, you know, it's going to be him and probably Thor. It's going to be Stark, Thor, the big three, Captain America were going to be pretty much off after this is done.
Yeah, the scuttlebug that I've been hearing is that Robbie Downey Jr. will probably still be there, but he will be like a background character that appears once in a while, like in a Spider-Man movie, like we've seen with Homecoming. I don't think we'll see him completely go away, and he might be ending up training like his successor, and I can't think of the lady that's from Wakanda.
The sister?
The sister of
the king?
Yeah, the king. Which she's got some tech skills on her, and so I love
that line. I'm sure you did your best.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
So I mean that part, you'll see them kind of gravitate away as they go as Marvel goes into Phase 4 of the next chapter of things. Now, what makes all that exciting as we go forward is that since Disney has acquired Fox. We're going to start to see the X-Men characters. We're going to start to see Fantastic Four characters. In
the MCU world,
in the MCU, because with the breakdown of because you're dealing with in the comics, you're dealing with multiverse. Yes. So it's a possibility that as we go into Phase 4, it'll become the multiverse, where you start to see these characters interact with the characters that we've grown in love over these, 10 years, I guess, at least 10 years, with the Avengers.
Yeah,
yeah. So it'll be fun to see what comes down the pipe and from this point forward. So it's just going to get more exciting as we go forward. And I've heard that they're going to shift gears from Earth to space. Yeah. So there'll be more adventures that take place in outer space than it's been before. So, and what's really kind of sold that is definitely between the Guardians and Thor, his adventures in space. So, it's going to get even more grandiose as it moves along.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Plus there's a lot of the passing the baton down, if you will, to the next person. We know that in the comic book, Bucky, he will become Captain America at some time, at least in the Marvel universe. He becomes Captain Marvel. I'm not sure if Falcon does or not.
Well, I'd heard it was with dealing, because that's the thing about the cinematic universe versus the comics. There's been some, even though there's been some themes that they've stuck to, but they've really kind of diverged from the storylines. And I'm trying to remember currently Bucky being in Wakanda. They're calling him the White Wolf? Yes. And
White Wolf.
Yeah. So and that's a major character in the Black Panther comics. But it'll be interesting to see who replaces Steve Rogers as Captain America, and what happens to Captain America. I really thought that he would be taken away from the snapping, and but he didn't, and or did it? Wait a minute. Did it?
What now? What you just say?
I think I just confused myself. Steve Rogers.
No, he stayed.
Yeah, okay. He's it's hard to keep these all together. It's funny because you read all these comics as a kid, and then all of a sudden you got the cinematic universe, which is kind of a little bit different, even down to they're calling the universe that. And Ant-Man, where he goes the micro universe,
the microverse or something.
Microverse,
the teenyverse.
And what's interesting is that Hasbro owns the Micronauts, and that was a spinoff.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was a spinoff, and so Marvel can't really call it the that particular the micro or Micronaut universe or whatever they called it, and that's why they're calling it what they're calling it now. So it's interesting, that even though Disney's acquired so much, there's still little fringes of things that they haven't acquired, and that's the Micronauts were a part of the the universe too as well. So it's it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that now that Disney owns Fox Studios and they have their hands on the rest of the Marvel stuff, we'll see a lot of good stuff. And I also like, speaking of Marvel, how they're working with Sony. That owns, Spider-Man and
made these deals,
and then they're doing this Venom movie, which was kind of funny. The other day we watched some video, and I told Solana, I said, "Hey, look at this! They put googly eyes on Venom," and I tell you, even though it's supposed to make it even more funnier,
I didn't like it even more.
It made it that much more demented. I mean, with these googly eyes, and but anyway, I digress. But it's just been really cool because
not gonna watch that.
With finally, I'm sure you could feel the same way, Dave. That after wishing that you could see all these characters together, it's finally kind of come true, and it's great to see that.
Yeah, and I have to say I love what Fox has been doing with the after X-Men stuff, like the Wolverine, not just the Wolverine, but Logan. That movie was devastating to me.
Yeah, Old Man Logan.
The way
I didn't see
Old Man Logan, the way they had Logan. Well, first of all, Professor X, Charles Xavier, as pretty much an invalid, and Logan's taking care of him. It's like, again, spoiler alerts for anyone who's listening and they haven't seen the movie. Go watch these movies, please. I hate the way that and they're darker. They're darker. They have a lot more bloodshed. And they curse a lot more. I'm noticing, especially after Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of changes in that universe, and I really hope Disney keeps that with now that they're extending the X-Men universe, because I don't know how you guys felt about Logan, but I loved it. I thought it was great.
I did not see it.
It was a great movie.
I saw it. It was good. It was excellent. It even has Steve Merchant in it.
Really?
As a mutant.
Wow.
Yeah. So
maybe I'll have to watch it now. See, I used to have a thing for Patrick Stewart, but I've kind of grown out of it a little bit. So otherwise, I probably would have jumped on it. But I enjoy some of these MCU movies. I loved Wonder Woman, but I'm like, if I never did see it, I'd be okay. I am all about Deadpool. That's the one I care about because it's fun. And I really enjoyed number 2.
Well,
I haven't seen Deadpool 2 yet. I have to go through that still.
Oh, Dave, he takes out everybody. MCU, DC, poor Josh Brolin gets it from every side.
There's a line.
His entire career.
There's a line in the movie that always cracks me up, is that you have Brolin, he takes his knife and stabs it into Deadpool's back, and he says, "Why are you you're so dark? Are you from the DC universe?" And so it's got some great lines in there, and
but he's got some jabs directly at Josh Brolin, the actor, too. So he breaks like the fourth and fifth wall. So there's Goonies references, and
pump the hate brakes, Thanos.
Yeah. He didn't even bother. They don't even bother to hide anything. And the other characters in there are enjoyable. And he kind of foreshadows, I think, a little bit at the end. Is it after the end credits where he comes back and he does all the time thing?
No.
I think maybe they're trying to take a dig at Infinity War. With the time stuff. I think.
I didn't even think about
I just thought of that connection.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
He's trying to undo everything that went wrong. Of course, the big thing where
you're kind of giving it away. Dave hasn't seen the movie.
Well, but he doesn't know what went wrong.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I won't tell him what went wrong. So it goes bad wrong.
The thing is that at the end of the movie, it has its own little. You know how Marvel loves to put these things at the end of the movie. And there's some funny scenes, where time travel is involved, and one, it deals with the Green Lantern.
It's a lovely companion piece to the MCU stuff, I think.
There's one where he finally gets
it's so good.
He finally gets Wolverine in the movie, and it's a scene from when, I guess, what is it, Wolverine Origin, where, remember the bad Deadpool where Ryan Reynolds was in it?
He had no mouth.
And it had no mouth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it has that in it.
That was horrible.
Yeah, so he deals with that. But I just, without giving it away, you're just gonna love it. It's just, it's fun. Every moment there's a slap in the face of
God, that scene with the baby legs. Oh my goodness.
So, but anyway, don't want to give it all that away. But so we shift gears.
I saw that in the commercials. I'm dying to see that.
Yeah, you're gonna enjoy it.
Go watch it so you come back and talk about it.
So let's shift gears. DC Universe. Now, I don't know what you feel about this, or well, actually, maybe I do. I had an opportunity, to have Solana watch Justice League, and what were your thoughts on Justice League, Solana?
There was no point in that movie other than Wonder Woman. All they needed was Wonder Woman. She could have solved all of it. They could have left Superman in that box. It would have been fine. Cyborg, what a pointless character. Boo-hoo, my dad Robocopped me and I'm all upset about it. Go take your whiny butt home. Nobody cares. That's my feelings about it.
Now, there is that scene that I told you about that I really like out of that movie when Flash, first Superman's doing battle with all of them.
But that's creepy.
What?
That's Superman being creepy again.
Being just as
where Flash is doing his top speed and he's going as fast as he can, and then Superman slowly turns his head because he can keep up with him in real time, and I'm like, I don't like that. That's weird. That's creepy.
But it's kind of like the one I've said before about Justice League is that as a kid I thought, oh, this would be great to be on the big screen and all that, and this is what should be done, and then finally, after the Batman trilogy from Snyder was done, they start production of creating the DC universe. And it's kind of like they tried to rush a lot of things instead of taking their time and developing and coming together. Because, first, I guess you get Superman, the Man of Steel, and then you get, you don't even get a Batfleck movie. You get you get Superman versus Batman. And Martha, I don't know. It was all poorly done. But the only thing I've seen that they seem to have got it right on the money was Wonder Woman. And so I'm going to turn that part over to you, Dave. I mean, I've said a mouthful. Let's hear your spin on it.
Well, of course, there's a lot of things I agree with, with you and Solana about. The whole thing did seem rushed. They could have took the time with the origins, with the writing. One of the things that I'm noticing, especially with the Flash, is he is really, really young.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I mean, he's a lot younger than Gustin. I can't remember how
old is he?
Grant Gustin.
Probably, you think 16, 17 in the movie?
In the movie, he looks like he's at least 20 years old.
Oh, I thought
at least, in my opinion. Because, the thing is he looks like he's still, like, in medical school or something.
Mm-hmm.
He's, we know his dad's in prison because he was framed. And that's cool because, you know that from the comic. You also know that from the CW show that's on TV. I think it's more advanced in the CW show than it is in the movie, and that's my problem. Is a lot of these characters, well, not a lot of them, but one of them at least with the Flash is really, really young. It was interesting what you said, Solana, that Flash was going top speed, but yet Superman could still catch up to him. Mm-hmm. And there is a comic book storyline where they have a race, Now, they do that at the end of the movie, but they made a big boo-boo. Superman was not allowed to fly in the comic book.
Oh.
So the race is actually, the rules are Superman cannot fly. He has to run just like the Flash.
Yeah.
And they were neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
They were neck and neck in the comic book.
Wind resistance thing and friction and
Yeah, he has to. I mean, they can both. Of course, they both run on water and that kind of thing, so they can go around the world, you know. But Superman cannot fly. He can't do it. So, well, he's not allowed to. Let me put it that way. He's not allowed to. Those are the rules.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be running. So Superman does, you know, keep up with the Flash, and but the Flash he's fast. I mean, and he's an older Flash, by the way, in the comic book too.
Right.
So I think the Flash being a young person in the movie is one of the reasons why Superman can basically keep, you know, not only just keep up, but he at one point, doesn't he throw the Flash? He catches him and throws him.
Yeah.
While they're trying to fight him and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things right there that I didn't like about the Justice League movie.
It's
again,
a flawed movie.
It's a flawed movie. I don't like, and here's another thing. I don't like the casting for Aquaman.
The what?
Really? You don't like Jason Momoa?
Yeah.
He doesn't.
No, I don't like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I can't tell you. I can't put my finger on it, but I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. You know, maybe it's because he's Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones, and I see him as that. You know, and it kind of goes over into Aquaman in a way, his look and everything. He just got a little bit of blonde highlights. You know, the Aquaman I grew up with was blonde, and I'm gonna say it, white. You know, so there's something not right about that whole thing. You know, they could have got someone just as big and, you know, muscular or whatever if they wanted to, because, you know, Aquaman originally in the comic book is almost as strong as Superman in the water.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty strong, and you know he's got a lot more powers just instead of just talking to fish. But he's not exactly one of my favorite characters, but I think they didn't really do him a lot of justice.
Really?
But Wonder Woman, spot on. Yeah, Wonder Woman, spot on. Ford, unfortunately, got a bad deal. I think he's a more interesting character than they make him in the movie. I like Alfred. But, yeah, it was a little whiny, but, you know, there's a reason for that. You know, of course, I don't know. I think it's really cool the way they did the alien tech, and that explains why he can transform like into a transformer pretty much, into whatever he wants to make his arm into a big giant laser gun, whatever.
And now for the cat commentary.
Cool. I like.
Sorry. Sorry about that, Jay.
Don't worry. Hey, it's all good. But no, I think they really could have done a way better job on Justice League. I heard you guys talking about Captain Marvel, but I don't know if you guys got to talk about Shazam that's coming up.
No,
I
don't know anything about that.
And I saw the preview for that, and that looks pretty awesome. I tell you what, Dave, before we get into that, let's go ahead and take our top of the hour break, and we can get into the rest of this superhero extravaganza that we're talking about when we come back. So don't go anywhere, anybody.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sirlana.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt Pit. Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot.
You're terminated.
Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production.
You're listening to Space Boy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Well, we're back again with Dave Cruz. He's hanging in there. You got great stamina. hanging in this long. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We've talked about a lot of interesting things since we've seen you. Last week we talked about fake news, which comes a lot out of social media. Let's see. We haven't talked to Dave since, like, Trump announced he wants a space force, and the whole thing about disclosure that happened last December. You know, this whole big thing about there was supposed to be disclosure from the government. Of course, they always say that. So I was going to see if Dave's kept up with any of these topics and what his feelings and thoughts are about any of that.
The Space Force thing, you know, it's funny. The last couple of weeks, I've just kind of been off of social media. And actually, if you don't mind, real quick, I kind of want to plug something.
Go ahead.
And that's Discord. That's Discord. I started a new Discord channel.
Yeah, we have Discord.
The Beyond the Strange chat, and I started my channel after I been hanging out with a few of my buddies like James Cruz and with Jerry Cthulhu, who have shows in their own right, YouTube and podcast, and they have their own Discord. I've been hanging out with them, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. I love this. I love Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started my own Discord with, you know, for BTS. By the way, BTS, if you put BTS in Facebook and make that a group, you will get a lot of Asians joining your group. I couldn't understand why I was getting 5 to 6 people joining the group when I called it BTS group. And then I finally found out that there was a group called BTS in Korea or something. Was it Korea or I don't know, but they're like this boy band and they're very popular. But yeah, I was getting all these little teenage Korean girls joining the BTS crew, which I'm like thinking, what are these guys? What are they doing? You know, there's like all these teenage Korean girls are joining my group for my show. What the heck?
Talk about a
and
niche
then I
market.
found out, oh man, it's hilarious.
That is funny.
And then someone's like, no, Dave, BTS is actually a boy band back in Korea or something like that. And I'm like, and they're very popular. And they're actually pretty good. I heard some of their stuff and I saw their videos.
Now, which one are you
They're not
promoting,
bad,
BTS or Discord? I know Discord from these gamers that I watch on YouTube. They use Discord to sync up and talk to one another, to record their audio for their gaming and to each other, and have a private chat, and to have fans come in and chat with them too. So we have it downloaded, and we've got a login for each of us on Discord. Just haven't fully fledged used it for anything yet, but we've got it.
It's in our R&D phase right now.
Yeah.
I really, really like it, and I would okay. So what I did was I tried to leave Facebook probably about like 4 months ago, and I kind of came back to it a little bit because of course I have a lot of my contacts and friends and people who follow the show and follow me and stuff on Facebook. So I've been coming back and still doing Facebook, but I went to a platform called MeWe.com. Which is a social media, but it's ran by a gentleman who was tired of all the data mining and all this shady stuff Facebook and YouTube and Twitter were doing. So he created his own that's locked down. And, people can't get your information and all this stuff. And I have to say, it was very boring. It was very boring. I found people on there. But I also found that they are pretty extreme on there as well. I mean, there are some really extreme groups out there on MeWe. So I kind of stopped with MeWe a little bit, and I started hanging out on Discord. And I have to say, I don't know. I just really, really like Discord
I like the
a lot.
interface on
and
Discord.
I really, Yeah, it's cool. I mean, you can do anything. You can post whatever you want, which is really, really cool. And I don't know. I'm just a fan, so I like Discord, and I think people should go to both of our channels and check it out.
I don't know if we've got a channel set up, but I know Discord is free, and you don't even have to download it. There is a web interface. So, but I think it's fully fledged. It's got features that you don't have to pay for, but a lot of the other things, if you wanted to get something like that with another app, you probably have to pay for it. So, we haven't, like I said, we haven't really tried it out.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Guys, we haven't really tried it out. I downloaded Doom 3 because it went on sale, and then I got all the way to installing it to the load screen, and I chickened out and got scared to play it. So, and I was gonna try to use the software that came with my NVIDIA card, the games exchange center, where it would actually has the ability to record, broadcast, and stream. But I would need a headset, so I chickened out because I got too scared to play with demons.
There's another app or program that does that too, where you can record yourself playing video games, and then you can later on you can put it on YouTube or something like that.
Well, Twitch has been around for a while. I think Twitch got bought by Amazon, but I don't think Amazon is messing with it. Like, if it works, they're just like, that's fine. But I have a Twitch login for myself. I don't know if Spaceboy has one for Spaceboy, but I have the ability to use my NVIDIA software and stream directly to Twitch. But who would watch anything I do? I don't know, because I would never have a webcam. Who wants to see an old 46-year-old woman playing games? Nobody wants to see that. So I would do audio, but
you never know.
Oh yeah, there's freaks out there. I know, but. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued by it. See, I guess I'm an old school. See, when Doom came out, it was like early '90s, and I was 19 and I was 20 years old, and I was out there in DOS playing Doom and Wolfenstein and Duke Nukem, and getting motion sickness, but I couldn't. It was like I couldn't stop playing them, So I had all the cheat codes on and having a good time. So. That's kind of stuff like.
I haven't played Doom in years, but yeah, Doom was pretty awesome for its time.
Well, the latest one's out, Doom Eternal, and it's like Doom 3, but they just sort of they've fancied it up even more. It looks more like you're inside a living beast of some kind. Some parts hell took over Mars, and it looks more hellish, more like the internal guts of some monster. So yeah, that's why I was intimidated to play it.
I'll check it out.
Well,
I'll have to definitely check it out on YouTube.
Yeah. I watched Markiplier play Doom 3 because he like me, he played the original when he was younger, so he had a nostalgia appreciation for it. And Doom 3 has secret rooms or areas, and you go in them, and it's the original Doom. It's all that 16-bit pixelated look. It's like from the original game, so it looks the same, and all the noises are the same when you pick up health or a helmet, or that shotgun cocking of the weapons. The old sounds are in there too.
That's cool. I definitely have to check it out.
Now, I'm still the retro gamer. I still love my old stuff: Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Missile Command. The classics that old geezers like me play.
Stargate.
Yeah, and but I still play some stuff, modern stuff today, but. It's just really hard for me to get into some of these games because you've got to really have some time to sit down, and as you probably just like me, you're so limited as far as your time is concerned, because if you're not at work doing your day job kind of thing, you're busy getting a show ready for the weekend, or and then of course I've taken on where I'm composing original music for a production for the web, And so it's like I am like just constantly. I just barely have any time to even think of games. But when I do, it's kind of like, okay, I just want to play a game. Like, for example, it seems like the majority of my gameplay is on my iPhone. Mm-hmm. I downloaded Pac-Man 256, which is an updated version of Pac-Man, which is kind of fun. And it's an ever-going thing, and it's kind of a scroller kind of situation. I also play, Crossy Road, where you got to jump across the road, and it's got that 8-bit looking feel to it, and so I played that. So, I guess my gaming extends basically from my phone because, there are times when maybe I'm at a doctor's visit and, I've got some time to kill while I wait 30 hours inside the office.
Oh, man.
Right.
Having a smartphone while you're waiting somewhere is just heavenly.
Mm-hmm. So, but in the old days, I even, I was like,
you had to read those terrible magazines.
I was into like Civilization. I'd play hours of that. Diablo, played that.
Tell me you didn't play Myst.
I did play Myst. The late 90s, everybody was into that kind of thing. Maybe not you, but
that's a horrible game.
No, it wasn't. It was a thinking.
It is when you're stupid like me.
Thinking game, So, but I do appreciate gaming culture, and even though I don't get to play a lot of the games that are maybe out there, I still stay up on top of them. Kind of like for me, it harkens back to watching my grandfather sit at a table, read the newspaper. Well, I'm actually watching Twitch or I'm watching YouTube, watching these games being played, learning, and I say, that looks pretty fun. I can see how that, and I'll promote these games. And so, every once in a while, Solana might try to download one like GTA.
That took 5 hours off of a DVD.
It had a few updates.
Wow.
But what's some of the games that you like to do, Dave, when you have a chance to, rip one out?
It's funny. I have really not played a whole lot of games lately because I've been so busy doing other stuff other than my podcast, like working. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been putting a lot of time into work. But it's funny that you asked me that because I still have like a PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm playing a PlayStation 1 game, and it's Castlevania.
Oh yeah.
That's on Symphony of the Night.
Right.
That's like one of my favorite games of all time because when it came out, there was nothing like it. It was on a disc. It had one of the best quality sounds at the time. Gameplay was good. It's still kind of pixely, like Minecraft, but it was still a good side-scroller game. And I just love that game. And so I was playing it the other day, and my wife comes in. She's like, "What are you playing?" And I'm like, "The Castlevania. It's like a classic. It's great, And she's like, "It looks old." I'm like, "Yeah."
So?
I know it's old, but I love it. So, but it was. I was playing that, and I was, I like retro games too. And what was the other game? I downloaded it on my phone a while ago. Oh, Earthworm Jim.
Oh yeah, classic. Yes, I used to play that on Sega.
And yes, exactly. And so I was like, when I found out you could play it on your iPhone, I'm like, oh heck yeah, I want to play this. So I downloaded that, and sure enough, it's Earthworm Jim on my phone with everything on it. It was like interesting. Of course, the touch is different. You kind of got to get used to that. But right. Other than that, it's really cool to play the old game.
Yeah, I know that prior to us getting our iPhones, we were really into our DS Game Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
And
Nintendo DS.
we had a huge collection of just different games and things, and then all of a sudden, it made it convenient to have your phone as the all-in-one kind of situation, and we started doing.
And we
apps.
both got an iPhone, and we stopped looking at each other.
Well, you stopped looking at me. I'll look at you and.
And I said, "What are you looking at? Stop looking at me."
Making sure you're still alive over there. But so it's interesting how thankfully these phones that we have now, these all-in-one mini computers, when in the past it was kind of like funny. I was watching a Facebook thing called Bat Dad, where the guy acts like he's Batman and he terrorizes his wife and his kids, and he said something to the effect about back in my day we didn't have iPhones and iPads and stuff, and he said, what did you do? He said, we looked out the window, and the kid said, well, that sucks. But yeah, I remember that. It was like I
agree.
It's as we're close in age. I remember a time when we didn't have all this stuff, and we sat in the back seat, and it was like we looked out the window and just, I guess, drooled out of our mouth, like waiting to get to a town or waiting to get to somewhere interesting. But we didn't need all these fancy doodads and knickknacks.
I would have loved to have this fancy doodad as a kid.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I think we probably would have been very different if we had this technology.
Is it true the computing power of this iPhone is greater than what they had in the Apollo mission?
Yes,
capsule?
They had basically a glorified calculator, and
they still got there.
Still got there.
That's crazy.
Well, it's kind of like your dad with the slide rule.
We never got there.
Oh, well, yeah, and
I'm not going to open up that can of worms.
Well, you kind of.
I love moon conspiracies, not moon landing, but moon conspiracies.
We've had Preston Dennis on our show twice, and his, the second conversation we had was about the moon being mechanical. And
a construct,
and
yes.
That was a fascinating conversation.
My favorite thing, and I didn't hear this from Preston, it was on another show, is that there's like a 9-foot tall alien named Bob that runs, he's the administrator of the moon, and if you're nice to him, he'll let you sit on his shoulders while he runs the moon.
Oh, so I guess our Bob is.
I want to do that.
Has been. So has our Bob been moonlighting?
Oh, they should probably call him Bob because it's easy.
Our Bob.
His
Bob and Chad.
Name probably can't be pronounced by human vocal cords, so they just call him Bob. Everybody's Bob if you can't pronounce your name. So that's like the best thing I've ever heard. And the guy was dead serious. I'm not laughing at him. I mean, that's as plausible as anything I've ever heard, but damn, I wish that was true and verifiable. 9-foot white alien runs the moon.
And that's the fun thing about doing a show like this, Dave, is that I can't speak for you, but we have topics on that. We may not agree 100% with a person, but we bring them on because it's such a fascinating story, nevertheless.
See, that's the thing about stories. I love stories. They don't have to be true for me to enjoy them. Now, if it comes on here saying this is true, I'm like, okay, well, where's your evidence? But that's why I like people like Andrew Bashago. I have no idea if his story is true, but at least it's fascinating, interesting, and consistent. He tells the same story every time, and I enjoy it.
Wouldn't you agree that when you have a story that's consistent, like a Bashago or Sam,
don't embellish it,
or Sam Walton or
not Sam Walton.
What did I? Oh, I'm thinking of Walmart. Never mind. I meant Travis Walton.
Travis Walton. Sam Walton's got an interesting story too.
Yeah. Sam Walton was abducted by Walmart aliens, and
discount by some discount aliens.
I'm having my.
Is that like the ghetto version of Travis Walton?
Dave, don't get him started. Did you hear that broadcast we did where we were laughing so hard I had to leave the room?
Oh.
And change my pants.
I got to go back and listen to that one.
Oh, it
wasn't last week. It was the week before last. We had a guest.
I made it into a clip. It's out there.
Yeah, but that's not the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's the last 20 minutes of the show.
Nobody wants to hear you waddling out of here.
You want to hear me. You want to hear me waddling out of here and screaming down the hall. You want to hear that? Trust me.
But anyway,
it's on the YouTube.
I'm just laughing.
Can't wait.
I'm laughing because I just made my Gene Hackman / Gene Wilder thing happen again, but now with Travis Walton and Sam Walton. But I digress. But yeah, what I was gonna, I guess, getting back to the question to you, Dave, is that I guess what makes the story interesting from any of these people is the consistency. When you have someone tell a story with consistency and it doesn't waver after so many years, it really sells the story.
Has that ever happened to you, Dave?
No, absolutely. Well,
where you've had somebody on and you don't believe them, but you don't let on.
Well, of course, there's whether or not. Okay, so here's the thing: whether or not I believe the person, in my opinion. Of course, I have a disclaimer at the beginning and end of every show. But whether or not I believe the guest who's on, whether or not what they're saying is real or not real, it doesn't mean they're not telling the truth. Because here's the thing. To them, it's their truth. It doesn't necessarily have to be my truth. Now, I mean, you know when someone's just flat out lying, being dishonest, and just, trying to make a buck or whatever. But when somebody, and I think this, you guys have been around long enough, as long as I have been around, to feel out your person, your guest, and then eventually your friend, because a lot of these people become your friends. A lot of these guests, in my opinion, become people that I talk to sometimes on a daily basis. And I'd love to, believe everything that they say. It doesn't mean that I do, but it doesn't mean that that's not my truth. I mean, that's not, their truth. That's their truth. That's not my truth. Doesn't mean that, it's right or wrong, in my opinion. If it's hurting someone, of course, that's wrong. But, like, for instance, like you guys were talking about, Andy Basiago. We've known him since, the first time I remember hearing him was on Fade to Black. I was so enthralled in that story, and it was pitched so well. I was like, man, this dude is a time traveler, and he has been pretty consistent with his story throughout the years since I heard that. As a matter of fact, I was going to bring this up. Have you guys been watching the new In Search Of?
No, Zachary Quinto? Quinto, yes. No, I haven't.
Pretty interesting in it that he took that over.
Yeah. How's that turning out?
Another Spock. It's actually really good. It's really good, and it doesn't have the Ancient Aliens feel. But I think it does stand alone on its own as its own show. Anyways, Andrew Basiago was on that show. Zachary was interviewing him, and to me, Zachary is like, "Are you serious? Is this real?" Like you can see his eyes. He's going down the rabbit hole as he's talking to Basiago, and it's like, man, I've never heard anything like this in my life. That kind of reaction from him, and he's been talking about this for so long that what if it is true? We don't know.
Right.
We're not going to know. You brought up Travis Walton. I personally met Travis Walton at the Ozark, one of the Ozark paranormal conferences, and I met him in person. I got to interview him for a little while. I'll tell you one thing about Travis Walton that I feel personally, everything he says is true.
Mm-hmm.
Because, in my opinion, I felt, and I looked at this man's eyes, and I could tell that this dude is not lying about what happened to him. It was horrifying. Fire in the Sky doesn't do justice. The movie doesn't do justice to what actually happened to Travis. And when you talk to him in person, you get, I mean, I was getting chills. My hair was definitely standing up on my arm. I was just like, oh my God, this man has been through a horrific, just a incredible experience. And, you know, yeah, aliens are not anybody's friends, in his opinion. These guys are malicious, malevolent, you know, they don't care. I definitely got that from him, you know, and he was good enough to come on, you know, for a little while and chat with me on the show. Amazing guy, you know, Travis, and yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, you know, we've been doing this for a while. I think we kind of can find out who's BSing and who's not BSing. But the truth is, again, it's not our truth; it's their truth, whether it's true or not.
Maybe that's
you know,
the only way we can
whatever.
reconcile people having these different, I don't know if they're experiences or philosophies, where you've got Travis Walton and this happened to him, and he says, because of this happened to me, they're not our friends. But then you have Dr. Stephen Greer, like, oh, it's a beautiful experience. Here's how to triangulate your coordinates so they can come to you. And you're like, I'm like, no. Just based on everything I've learned, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I guess that's his
I don't
truth.
ever want to find out. Yeah, I don't ever want to find out if ET is here to help us or hurt us, but I think they are here. I really do. I really do feel that they're here, and I feel that I've had an experience with them, whether it's seeing UFOs in the sky or quite possibly even being abducted myself. You know, and I know that sounds very tinfoil hat-ish of me. It sounds kind of crazy, but there's been a lot of people that I've been around who claim that they've been taken and they've been on a board and stuff like that. And I started kind of regressing a little bit, having different dreams about being on a craft.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not trying to woo anybody. That's not what I'm doing. I'm telling you my truth. What I believe is it's quite possible I had an experience and they did the whole, you know, Men in Black thing on me. Poof. You know? Mm-hmm. But slowly it's kind of coming back. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, I've had someone who came up to me out of the blue and said, "You've been abducted. You are an experiencer."
They could just tell by looking at your being near you.
Because that they've had this experience, they have a connection with ET, all of that. They know who's an experiencer, who's not an experiencer. And that happened to me at Contact in the Desert when I went.
Mm-hmm.
And after that happened, I was just blown away. You know, and sure enough, little things, little synchronicities, because you guys believe in synchronicities, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel that they're real.
Yeah.
I still think those are real. It's after that happened that I started feeling that this kind of stuff is happening. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Dave, we're at the we were a little bit past, but hold on, we're going to take this break. It's the last break of the evening. When we come back, we can finalize some of your thoughts there, and then definitely plug away with social media and all that good stuff where people can reach out to you. So hold that, and we'll be right back after this.
Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Get your game on Spaceboy Universe. Level up with Spaceboy Universe. No quarters, no problems. Play it at Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
As always, you know, during breaks, we have some of the best conversations that really should be played during the live broadcast. But, you know, we were talking to Dave and talking about the different people we've come across and met, and of course the real players versus the fake ones. But I think that I wanted to add before we kind of let you off on your own tangent again, Dave, is that one, we respect anybody that comes on here, and I've always said that we may agree to disagree on something, but at the end of the show we go away learning something new, and our mind is expanded, and it gives us more knowledge to look at the universe further, and everyone's experience is unique in its own way. It's not my experience; it's your experience, and that's what I like about doing the show, is that as this learning aspect, and to be open-minded to anybody that comes on the show and learn from them. And sure, you're going to have some guests that, wow, they're off on the deep end, but it's just as you navigate the rivers, if you will, to your final destination, it comes out to be a fascinating interview.
Totally agree, 100%. Basically, I feel that a lot of my guests, and by the way, Solana, that's David Icke.
David Icke, yeah, I could not remember his name. He's another one that I entertains me. Let's put it that way.
Doesn't he deal with the Loosh?
The Loosh.
Isn't it
he deals with the Loosh. Well, the reptilians feed on the Loosh.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole NWO conspiracy. We can definitely save that for another show. But definitely. I feel the same way, man. Anybody that comes on the show that I talk to, that is definitely something that I learn, or I feel is I've learned something, and I get to keep that with me. And it was like I was saying earlier, whether or not it's my truth, it doesn't matter. It's their truth.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's why we give them the chance to talk to the audience, to just, talk about it. And what I love, though, and I don't know if you've had a chance to do this, but with call-in and having people just call in, because honestly, we both come from a background, with our old OG Theater Not family,
mm-hmm.
and that's through Jimmy Church and Fade to Black, and I'll always be grateful to Jimmy and Rita. Not that they gave me my start, but I was inspired by them to do what I do now. And yes, I broke away from a lot of that because I wanted to do my own thing and put, not just put my name on it, but I had different ideas, and I wanted to just have Beyond the Strange, not Fade to Black Jr. or anything like that.
Right.
That's not what I wanted.
Right.
Having people call in, especially when I used to listen to Theater Night and people would call in and talk to Jimmy, I thought that was great. But I also thought that they didn't get a chance to talk, long enough. So having people, I wanted people to call in and do the same thing on Beyond the Strange. I found that a lot of people don't really like to call in. But again, I'm nowhere near where, Timmy is, of course, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with that. But what I did find is that when people do call in and they have something to say, God, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You learn, so much more from, in my opinion, from people who have had experiences and they're mm-hmm. not on the big circuits, and they're not David Wilcox and Corey Goods and, all these people, who claim to do this. Look at them now. Look at all the controversy that follows those people.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff, in my opinion, is what I shy away from. And honestly, guys, that is why another reason why I didn't want to do my show consistently. I mean, there might have been a time where I could have did my show 3 nights, 4 nights a week, and grown it and make it bigger than it is now. I don't have a problem with how big it is right now because I'm not trying to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this because I love to do this. And the problem is I just don't have the time to do it as much as I want to do it. You know, hopefully that changes in the future where I can do it a lot more. And I've learned a lot, and you know, since I started the show. And I know that you guys have also grown and learned as well.
Well, I've learned. I don't know that I've grown unless it's bitter. I'll let the Space Boy make that call.
That's part of growing, though. That's part of growing because, you know, there's a lot of people in this industry, again, like I said, who can lead you astray, and you're like, well, I really, 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 really believe them. And then you find out that, you know, it's all for the money.
Yeah.
It's
or
so
you thought they were your friend and had your back, and it turns out, boy, you were really wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you never find out why, so.
That too, unfortunately, can happen. You know, and, you know, there's no explanation for it. There really isn't. It's just, it is life. You know, it's just something that we have to learn and take with us, and hopefully not let that happen to us again.
Well, that's what I say at the end of the day. Space Boy and I have each other. You know, as long as that's solid, you know.
Help me.
You sit down, young man.
But yeah, I you know, it is what it is, and you know, as we've taken this journey, and we've had highs and lows, and it's been a fun thing to do, and you know, we personally also didn't want to be called Fade to Black Jr. as well, and you know, initially when I started to think about the show and creating it, I came up with the topics that, you know, this is what our show is about, you know, and so,
I wasn't supposed to be involved.
I drug her into this without her
still waiting to get fired.
It. And she stuck around as we built the show, and you know, honestly, Space Boy Universe would not be a show without Sirlana.
But you could do it, is what I'm trying to say. You could.
No, people have grown to love you.
I seriously doubt that. I could build the show for you, and you just say it. There you go.
Anyway, so
there you go.
But with that said, Dave, you know, we're approaching the part where, you know, plug away, and you know, tell us all the good stuff and where people can follow you and all that good stuff. So we hand the mic over to you.
Well, thanks a lot, guys, again, for having me on the show tonight. Really appreciate it. It's been great talking to you guys about everything tonight. And, yeah, I mean, always, well, here's the thing. The website is definitely going through another change again. So it's under construction. I don't have as much time to put into it as much as I want to. That hopefully, again, will change. I'm kind of making another comeback, if you will. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my stuff is just in the works right now, and eventually it'll just be boom, website, new platform. I'm always trying something different, Space Boy. You know how that is.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just trying to find the right media that I want to keep my show on, and have everything to go along with it. Social media platform, video platform, audio platform, website. You know, a lot of people need to understand. I mean, people need to understand. It's not what people just think. They can just get on a microphone and, you know, start talking, which is half of it, by the way. But there's other stuff that goes along with the production.
Yeah, irritating stuff.
A lot of irritating stuff. Marketing is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you have to have time for it.
That's really the thing. There's just no time. It's like, I need an intern.
Thank you.
Unpaid intern.
Wow. Thank you again. By the way, a couple of my interns in the past have actually gone on to do their own show, and I'm really, really proud of them, by the way. Should I mention it?
Oh, or? Yeah.
Put a hex on him.
Well, Gigi and Cortana have actually done very well.
Oh, yeah.
Shift happened.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they started off with Beyond the Strange with me a couple years back, and I'm really happy for them that they're doing what they're doing. And again, that's what makes me happy, is seeing people take this information and doing it on their own and making it theirs. At the same time, they're spreading what people feel is their truth. So I think that's great, and it just makes our community that much bigger. Whether it's paranormal, pop culture, music, videos, gaming, it's out there. That's the important thing, is get it out there, get it out to everyone. Mm-hmm. But you can always go to www.beyondthestrange.com. Beyond the Strange is also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, under @StrangeDays 2015, and YouTube, of course, is Beyond the Strange. So it's very simple. You can find all of that at beyondthestrange.com, and I'll make sure there's links for all of that. So,
well, great.
There you go.
Well, Dave, like I said, I'm just glad that you reached out to me, and regardless of whatever is being said in the shadows, I've always said that if you don't hear it from this horse, it ain't true. And I'm telling you right now, I've loved you, brother. I've loved what you've done, and the fact that we've made it this far speaks volumes. We've gone through ups and downs, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Beyond the Strange 2.0 brings us. And
I'm fond of you as well.
Yeah,
just so you know.
She says that to everybody.
Thank you, Solana.
So,
we still got to do another update on the Black Knight satellite.
Yeah, I loved talking about that and those stupid Pepsi conspiracies, and
Yeah, that was a good. I was going to even bring that up tonight, but we got so wrapped up in it. So
I loved calling in and talking about.
I really think
awesome.
that Dave, you and us can really do maybe a 10-hour show. To be honest with you.
Oh my God, easy.
I'll
do the whole weekend when
hook up one of those bags to my bladder and
Well, you know what? You and Savannah are always welcome to come on Beyond the Strange, especially the 2.0 version. And who knows? Maybe you guys will even do the video part with me. So that would be awesome.
Awesome.
He can do that.
Have you guys come on Zoom.
All right, Dave. Well, it's been a pleasure, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Give our best to Deborah, your wife, and
yes.
we'll definitely be in touch with you, my friend.
Right on, brother. Thank you again. Both of you guys have a great night, and once more again, I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and love you guys.
Love you right back, my brother.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, you guys have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
And he's off the call. Now we can talk about him. No.
Well, it's amazing.
Warm, fuzzy feelings.
How fast this show went.
Yeah, when you're passionate about and knowledgeable what you're talking about, it just whips on by. And that pain in my bladder, I'm only just now feeling it.
Well, good.
After being ripped apart.
Yeah, so I'm just going to put this out there. We don't know what's next week.
It'll be something.
I've been working on a few things, but then I've gotten behind because I had to do some tech support.
There's some things I would like to talk about, but they kind of involve reading a book, and it's so hard to cram that in a week. Because it's a big topic. So maybe I'm going to try to find a way to maybe we revisit something we've left out from last time. I don't know. I've got some ideas, but I'll let y'all know.
Mm-hmm. And as long as nothing major happens in the Star Wars arena,
God,
you won't hear me complain or say anything again. But it is what it is. But I love the fact that I got the chance to talk to Dave about Marvel. That was fun to talk about, and the Better Call Saul thing. I mean,
it's great to have some other party to talk to other than you, because, all I've got is you, and you probably get tired of
Well, if you'd actually talk to me instead of looking at your phone all the time, then, maybe we'd have some conversation.
You're the one that said, hey, let's get iPhones. I put that back on you.
When did I say, hey, let's get iPhones?
Hey, Lamont, mac cheese, would you eat it?
Come on, Solana, it's not a tricky question here. But, it is what it is. But, heck, you're going to get a show next week. It'll be live, and, whether we have a guest or not, you'll either hear interesting topics between both of us. You'll hear some bickering back and forth. Isn't that what you tune in for?
Yeah, feel free to suggest guest topics.
Mm-hmm.
Spaceboy will do requests. I won't, but he will.
What, musical requests? Or?
Well, he'll do most anything.
But, so it should be fun, and, and it's all good. And before we go, I just want to put this plug in.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the PAUK Radio Network.
We love you, PAUK Radio Network. You are just an apple in our eye. That,
righteous dude.
Righteous European people out there, and that love to tune in to the SBU on the PAUK Radio Network. And we love you. Thank you for keeping the SBU on the network over there. So, so just wanted to put that out real quick. Let's see, what else am I missing here?
Remember, spaceboymusic.com, free music all the time.
Oh, and if you need tech support, you can go to westsidetech.us. westsidetech.us. Did I get it right this time?
Yeah. Oh God, you're just so adorable. Sometimes I'm going to give you a hug.
That wasn't half as bad as me. Who did I confuse tonight? Sam Walton. With Travis Walton. Sam Walton, the infamous alien abductee
Let's
from
build an
Bentonville,
alternate backstory for Sam Walton. Like, he was abducted by aliens, and he got this idea for a retail chain.
Okay.
And then over time, they would pump this special gas into the air conditioning system.
I agree. Oh, man, don't get me started on that. Every time I go to a Walmart, especially our Walmart, I get totally sick by the time I get into that building.
I get tired of having to play a game of chicken every time I go down another aisle. There's somebody right there.
That was pretty bad today.
Well, it's school starting again, and everybody's trying to get clothes and supplies
and
I'm just
crayons.
like trying to get some chocolate milk and get out of my way. I ain't got to put no kid through school, so get out of my way.
Don't get me started on that one.
The baby crying today.
Oh, God. Yeah, we go to, well, no, I'm not going to say that story.
No.
It's too late in the evening to get me.
Goat gettings.
Yeah, goat stories now. I've already squeezed the goat too many times. The goat
Is that
only,
a euphemism?
The goat only wants to be squeezed maybe once, twice at the most. So, so no more goat squeezing for tonight.
Well, we're all relieved there.
Yes, aren't we all? Let's see here. I guess that's it, Solana. I'm not going to hold everybody up.
Maker Fair still coming up?
It's in October. As we get closer, we'll pop some numbers out there and make sure. We got to follow up with our good friend of the show, David Bernay.
Pony Trap?
Yeah, Pony Trap. Oh, yeah. I'd like to interview them live and get some video of them playing. That'll be really exciting. Let's see. So Maker Fair, we like to do that. We are all into the technology. Anniversary coming up in September.
Look for some comedy clips from Best of from last year.
Our anniversary show will fall on the day after we find out Kathleen Kennedy is fired.
Oh, well, isn't that fortuitous and momentous? Who gives a crap?
All right, people. On that magical note, just remember... tune in next week on Spaceboy Universe, where Solana and I will laugh ourselves to death. Good night.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Solana. Executive producer is Solana. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K28, Dino, Solars Blue Raven, Patrick Sporer, Bob and Beverly N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets.
Yeah!